Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Right, okay, so here we are with another new edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard game. The Tapology Lucky Bastard Game 25th edition, to be precise. We're here for the first round because last time out we had four people left and the wheel knocked you all out. So the wheel won for the eighth time in overall. So here it is, 25th edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard game. Bit of a milestone one, actually. Anyway, let's see who's in it. I think there's 33 if I've had it up right in total. Just run through some of those names. So rejoined for another crack at being the Lucky Bastard champion. We have A, or A laugh my ass off, and AZ, but from here on out we just call him A because I've no idea how the fuck you're meant to pronounce that. I really ought to ask him at some point. Bellatrix, Boom Shakalaka, Calfoth, Canhago Ruiz, Captain Quebec, C. Collins 44, Cheeseball, Cool Hand Puke, Costradamus, Damien Handel 420, Dr. Maxis 2, El Guapo, Foghorn Sam, it's your boys B or it's your boy SB or I don't know. But he's here and I'm glad about it. And got Jack Sosso as well, KK Kombu, Knife Rusty, Cushy Cake, Mule Floyd, Piggy Bank, Rigno, Shat, Schwer Industry, CN6, and making his debut, I believe, in this game. So best of luck for you. Me, Stephen Terry, and I've actually remembered to add myself to this game this time. Forgot last time somehow. The Dirty UFC Man, the MMA Historian, Trail Allman, Trig, Troz, Ubermatch, who's one of our lifetime pass holders, who's returning after a bit of a break. So good luck and it's great to see you back here again. And finally, ex-con Chris. Right. Okay, so just bear with me while I get back to the other page. And for this first round, we have UFC Fight Night. Neil Magny versus Carlos Prates. And that's just going to be a demolition, let's be honest. I just can't see any real way that Magny wins this. It's a shame because he's a very tough veteran and I enjoyed watching him fight over the years, but Carlos Prates in his recent fights has just looks completely unstoppable. He's a good knockout artist. I think he's pretty much won all of his uh he's won all of his fights by knockout in the UFC. I'm surprised he's only had three UFC fights so far, actually, but they have been very, very convincing wins, and it looks like this is just another case of a very seasoned veteran being fed to the hungry up and comer, and yeah, I think it's as tough as tough as Neil Magny is. Carlos Prates is just going to be too much for him. So I've got Carlos Prates for first round knockout. That's my prediction for the main event. But of course, you're not here to listen to my predictions for the. I mean, by now you kind of know what you're subjecting yourself to with my videos. Let's be honest, but I will try and not ramble as much as normal. Got an absolute cold at the moment, absolute fuck off cold. So if my voice sounds a bit fucked, that's why. And yeah, I'm gonna try to do myself a favor as well as and try not to ramble and repeat myself as much as I usually do. So yeah, so if I sound completely fucked, that's why. Anyway, and then also the fighters' names pronunciation is going to go out the fucking window. Um, because of that cold. Right. But anyway, we'll get through it. First up is A. Let's see who the wheel has in store for A. And so he gets Melissa Mullins. Melissa Mullins there for A. Yeah, and I think he should be pretty happy with that one. As one of the bankers on the card, in my opinion. Um, she's just I'm expecting a wide unanimous decision win for her against Claudia Saigula. They're both 6-1, but the fight really isn't as close as the record suggests because Mullins is obviously oh, excuse me, she's obviously got UFC fights under her belt. She's also come through Ares, which, as I've mentioned a few times before, that's one of the biggest in Europe now, and it's a real threat to cage warriors. Um, yeah, and Claudia Saigula, on the other hand, sort of Polish regionals, but and it's respectable. It's about what you'd expect, but for sort of Polish regionals, but yeah, no, it's I just can't see any way she wins this. So I'm fairly confident. Along with Melissa Mullins, getting through to the second round of this one. Okay, Bellatrix is next to take on the wheel. Let's see who is going to be in Bellatrix's corner, or whose corner Bellatrix is going to be in tomorrow night. And Bellatrix gets Quartavius Rominus. Probably I've completely fucked that one up to hell, so apologies to him. And yeah, it's I've got him to win. So again, there's um, another good pick in my opinion against Gaston Bolaños. Again, another decision win. Yeah, not as making his UFC debut, but he's looked so good so far. He's had a couple of contender series fights. Obviously, lost one, but was good enough to get a call back. So, uh, and also had a LFA fight before that. So he's got a bit of pedigree behind him. And even though Gaston Bolanos is one has got two fights in UFC, won one, lost one. Also fought for Bellator a few times, but his run in Bellator wasn't overly successful, if I'm being completely honest. Not sure what his final record in the promotion was, but he was never really a standout in Bellator. But yeah, I can see Romeus winning this one quite comfortably. Boom Shakalaka next to take on the wheel. Let's see. Let's see what he's got in store. He's got the opponent of Bellatrix and Corsa Vias Romus, Gaston Bolanos. I'm not even going to attempt the accent on that one because that is I'll probably start an international instant if I did because Bolanos. Yeah, I probably spelled that wrong as well. But yeah, as I was just saying about him, really. I say a couple of UFC fights under his belt. Also fought for Bellator, so he's not a bad fighter. But even though his Bellator run wasn't ideal, but yeah, Romus he's just looked better in. Plus, the UFC they're going to want to back their man, so to speak, seeing that he's come through the contender series. They do try and look after their prospects that have come through the contender series, especially when you're pairing him up with someone like Bolanos, who's come from a rival promotion like Bellator, not directly, but I mean, as there's going to be a little bit of bias there, really. So, yeah, it's just a bad matchup for Bolanos there. So, that's the first one, first head to head. Bellatrix and Boom Shakalaka will be squaring off tomorrow night. And the first one I don't think's got too much of a chance, if I'm being honest. I think we might be saying goodbye to Boom Shakalaka in the first round here. Okay, Cal Foth is next to take on at the wheel. Let's see what he's got in store. He gets Luana Pinheiro. Luana Pinheiro there. Luana Pinheiro, I think. And some oh, gee, excuse me. Um, Right, won't be a second. Oh, right. Luana Pinheiro. Right. Okay, so if I'm being honest, again, another one I don't think has much of a chance. Up against Gillian Robertson. Again, Gillian Robertson's just much better overall. She's got more experience behind her. Got on a two-fight win streak at the moment. She's gone the distance before. She's so she can knows how to manage her stamina over the course of a 3-round fight. And Yeah, I think she's probably got the better grappling game as well. A striking maybe could be improved. Let's put it that mildly. But Luana Pinheiro, I just don't think she's much of a threat to Robertson, to be honest. On a two-fight losing streak. And those are both finishes, by the way. Submission loss to Angela Hill, knocked out by Amanda Rebus. It's just not looking good for her going into this fight. And yeah, as such, I've got Gillian Robertson to end it by first round submission. So there's maybe two or three fighters on this card which I will either one way or another say are definitely going through or definitely going out, and I'm afraid Luana Pinheiro is one of the going out ones. Not what Calfoth wants to hear, but who knows? Maybe it's women's MMA, so that always if you're going to get an upset anywhere, it's most likely going to be one of the women's fights. Not sure exactly why that is. I'm not going to speculate at the moment, but maybe that's a video for another time if I ever decide to branch out, make videos about other just random subjects. But I don't know. But he's going to need a bit of an upset one way or another. Can Hago Ariz next to see what the wheel has in store for him? And he gets Carolina Kowalkiewicz. I've no fucking clue with that one. Sorry, Carolina. How the hell are we spelling that one? Kow. Why have I put an A there? Lkiewicz. I think. I don't know. I know which one I mean. Right. Okay. So I apologise to Carolina and Polish people around the world for butchering my pronunciation of that name, but well, and again, as yeah, another one I picked against. I've got Denise Gomez to win by decision for that fight. Um, it's it's a close fight. Carolina is the more experienced. 16 wins, 8 losses, mostly by a decision, but she's got again halfway decent ground game as well. But Denise Gomez, I'd say her ground game is better. I mean, the Brazilians usually are better on the ground naturally. They're um, when fighters come out of Brazil, you kind of expect them to have better jiu-jitsu. And I'd say Denise Gomez certainly does. Good enough to finish her, maybe, perhaps not, but yeah, no, I just fancy her simply because she's got well, her win against Eduarda Mora last time as that was she was 10-0. I was fully expecting Mora to win that one. So yeah, that was a bit of an upset, and yeah, she's got less fights on the record, but she's got better quality ones. So it's not the end of the world for Canego Ruiz, but I do think he's got the slight underdog in that one. So yeah, afraid Canhago will also need a little bit of luck there. Uh, Captain Quebec is next. See what the wheels got in store for him in this first round, and he gets Antonio Trocoli. Antonio Trocoli there. Antonio Trocoli. And again, another one that's Will seems to be throwing up a lot of the ones that I've picked against here at the moment. Because I've gone with Tresean Gore for this one by decision. Tricoli is, I suppose, he's probably the favourite to win. To be fair, because 12-4 compared to Tresean Gore's 4-2. But um, I don't know. I am a bit biased towards Trajan Gore simply because last time he submitted Josh Fremd, and I honestly thought Fremd was going to do some damage in the UFC when he came from LFA. Whenever he was fighting in the LFA, I always made sure to tune in for his fights. And when he went to the UFC eventually, I thought, well, yeah, it's only a matter of time before he starts building a name for himself, climbing up the ranks. That just hasn't happened. He's just struggled in the UFC, but I do still rate him, and I suppose by that logic, because Trajan Gore beat him, I have to rate Trajan Gore, don't I? I have to. I suppose if you're doing your MMA maths or whatever, that's if he can beat my logic is just if he can beat Fremd, he can probably beat Antonio Tricoli. Um, Tricoli again, not bad. 0-1 in the UFC. Okay, that's probably not the best way to start that argument. I did not think I did not think that thought process through. Not bad. 0-1. Yeah, but it's okay. All right. If I bothered editing these videos, that bit would have ended up on the cutting room floor. But but he's come through the contender series as well. So he's does have, he's a good fighter. He's got a bit of pedigree behind him, but he's yeah. So I think Gore's win over Fremd, honestly, I think it counts for a little bit more than what I've seen of Tricoli so far. That that is just personal opinion. No, the bookies, I think they've got Tricoli as the favourites, and probably sensibly so. He's the more experienced, and he's definitely going to have to count on that experience if he's going to get the win. But sort of a 50-50 one maybe for Captain Quebec there. All right, just try to catch my breath a bit. This cold's leaving me a little short breath. All right. C. Collins 44. Next to see what the Will's got for him. And he gets Luana Pinheiro as well as Calfoth Luana Pinheiro, which again is, yeah, it's like, in my opinion, that's bad news up against Gillian Robertson. And again, I just can't see any way Pinheiro wins that. Obviously, like I say, lost the last two. Robertson is just more experienced and just at a higher level as well. This is going to be, yeah, if she doesn't finish him early like I've predicted, she's just going to absolutely ragdoll her for the whole 3 rounds. Possibly that's another outcome, but I can't see any way Pinheiro wins this one. So yeah, I'm afraid C. Collins will also be potentially joining Calfoth in that one and going out in the first round. Cheeseball next to face the wheel. Let's see what's the wheel got in store for Cheeseball. He gets Gerald Merscheret. For Cheeseball there. And he's not completely out of it, but I don't fancy his chances. I completely butchered the spelling of that one as well, by the way. But because obviously up against the former ONE FC double champ, simultaneous double champ, both middle and light heavy, Rene de Ridder. Yeah, so this is his introduction to the UFC. And yeah, I'm expecting big things of him. Maybe a little bit of a slow start, so maybe get a few wins under his belt first, but no reason why he can't. He's going to trouble the rankings at the very least. There. Um, As for Mercer, what's he like for his first opponent? Well, obviously we know about him. He's a very experienced veteran, 37 wins, 17 losses. He's been there, done that, worn the t-shirt, worn the thong, whatever you want to say. He's a very tough veteran, and to be fair to him, he's had a great year so far. He's fought twice, won twice, fighting for the third time in the space of a year. So he's staying active. To be fair to him, um, but yeah, this is just, I suppose it's the ultimate backhanded compliment, isn't it? It's just like uh, Dana White has basically said, "Oh yeah, I see, hey Gerald, I see you're going on a little bit of a win streak there. How would you like to take on the One FC double champ, who's gonna be coming into our promotion?" As yeah, well, good fight, but it's not one I fancy Mercer in. So yeah, overall, second round submission for Derrida is my prediction for that one. Um, it will be interesting because if Mercer does win, it will be interesting to so that'd be a very interesting measuring stick to see the difference between the quality of of one and the UFC, because Mercer Derrida very much, well, excuse me, Derrida was very much the man one championship. So if he fails to make an impression, or at least within the first few fights anyway, maybe it'd be another Ben Askren case where he comes into the promotion far too late. I don't know. I think he's 34. So he's coming in at the tail end of the career, but I'm not expecting it to go quite the same way as Askren. Um, but he should be beating Mercer, in my opinion. But if Mercer does win, well, then that does seriously raise questions as to, well, how good are the other middleweights and light heavyweights overall one? Um, Definitely a fight to keep an eye on. Cool Hand Puke next to take on the wheel. Let's see who's going to be rooting for. And he gets Denise Gomez. Denise Gomez, therefore, Denise, how the hell are we spelling it? Denise Gomez. There we go. There we go. And yeah, that's the other side of the Kenhager Ruiz Carolina Kowilwitz fight. Again, apologies for butchering that one again. I'm just going to call her Carolina from here on. But yeah, a little bit better news this time around. As I mentioned, I've picked Gomez to win, simply because her win last time against Eduardo Mora, that's was unexpected, and it showed that she's at a level that I didn't realize she had levels to her game. I didn't realize that she yeah, she was capable of. Again, it's still a close fight. Carolina very much more experienced, as I've mentioned before. But I think Gomez should be taking this one. I think they're going to be close enough. I can't see them finishing each other at all, but they're not that far apart in skill level that we can maybe see a finish. But I don't know. But it's yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sums up my predictions in a nutshell, don't it? Um, but I've gone with Gomez. She's probably the slight favourite in terms of the betting as well, probably. So yeah, another little head to head to keep an eye out there. Cool Hand Puke and Canhago Ruiz. Right, see if anyone else joins them. See if Costradamus joins them or gets his own one. Let's see who has the wheel got in store for Costradamus. And he's got possibly the best pick on the card, Carlos Prates, one of the main eventers. Um, Carlos Prates. And yeah, that's, as I've mentioned at the start of the video, I fully expect him to. It's going to be a hard watch, to be honest. I mean, I suppose if you don't give a fuck about seeing veterans get knocked out, great. But I don't really want to see that, to be honest. I mean, I know it's part of the sport, but it's always sad to see veterans you watch for years trailing off at the end of their careers, and I was never a huge Neil Magny fan, but I've always enjoyed his fights, always respected him. But yeah, I suppose Carlos Prasos is the new guy to get excited about. And yeah, and got a lot of experience behind him as well. Carlos Prasos isn't exactly untested. He's got 20 wins, 6 losses. He's been around a little bit. And obviously not as much as Neil Magny, but he's, yeah, like I say, he's learned a few things on his journey into the UFC. That's why he's come into the UFC and dominated to the extent that he has. He wouldn't have been able to if he didn't have that experience behind him. So yeah, I just can't see any realistic path to victory for Neil Magny. Unless maybe the only thing I can really think is maybe he's able to withstand the early barrage and then um, try and grind out a decision win, maybe. But I just can't see that happening, to be honest. I just don't think that's likely at all. But the good news, Costradamus, that's about as close as guaranteed ticket to the second round as you can get. So let's see if Damien Handel 420 is going to be as lucky. Let's see who's Damien got. Who's got in store for Damien? He's got Corsa Vius Romeus there. Again, apologies if I've mispronounced that name. But again, I fancy him to win that, so I'm sure Damien Handel will be pleased to be drawn with him too. I say 9-2 in the UFC, a couple of contender series fights. Well, 9-2, no, 9-2, not in the UFC, 9-2 in MMA rather. That's what I meant to say. So it'd be a veteran by today's standards. How quickly they go through fighters if that were the case. But no, 9-2 in MMA, making his UFC debut. Yeah, so I think he's going to be getting off to a good start here against Gaston Bolaños. Got him to win by decision, as I've mentioned earlier. Bolaños 1-1 in the UFC, so I suppose that's probably the best thing going for him. Is he does know what it's like to fight in the UFC. He's got a little bit of more higher level experience, perhaps, but I think Romanus has just done another level here. So yeah, I can see who else got him by the way. Who else? It was Bellatrix earlier, so it's the Bellatrix and Damien Handel 420 that's both got him. And they're up against Boom Shakalaka as well, so that's 2 against 1 there already. Maybe that's going to be our little unofficial Lucky Bastard Game main event. We shall see. And we'll see if not Damien, we just done Damien. We'll see if Dr. Maxis 2 is going to be joining them, or does he get his own unique fighter? I tell you what, he nearly got Gaston Bolanos there, but he gets Elysiu Zalesky. Elysiu Zalesky there for Dr. Maxis 2. Let's see, how are we spelling that one? Zalesky. Right. Again, I got him to win by a decision. It's going to be close. Up against Zach Schrogin. 7-0, so he's not a bad fighter at all. He's although it is more against lower level regional fighters. We're not sure. This is his first real test, if I'm being honest. And I'm not sure how well he's going to fare, really, especially with someone as experienced as Zalesky. 24 wins, 8 losses, 1 draw. Gone to the decision distance countless times. So we know he's gas tank. So he's a proven fighter, basically. And as a fun little bit of trivia, one thing I'd actually forgotten about until I was making this was that a couple of years ago he got a sneaky win over Benoit Saint Denis, who is making waves in the lightweight division at the moment. Okay, his hype train's got snubbed a little bit as of late, but still a very good name. Still a very good win. That's aged beautifully over the last couple of years. So that should be enough for to see Zalesky through, and enough to see Dr. Maxis 2 through to the next round. Excuse me just a second, just blow my nose, just clear out the gunk up there. All right. Okay. El Guapo next to take on the wheel. Let's see who El Guapo has got, or is going to get anyway. And he gets Mansur Abdul Malik. Mansur Abdul Malik there for El Guapo. Abdul Dash Thingy Malik. I have no idea what that dash thing is called actually. Um, uh, right. Yeah. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So it's the good news anyway. So I was going to say for Guapo, got him to win by second round knockout. He's 6-0. This is his UFC debut again. So he's a little bit green, a little bit unproven, but he's fought on Contender Series again, another Contender Series alumni. And the LFA as well. He's also fought there. I think he's only had one fight in LFA though, to be honest. So I'm not sure how much weight that really carries, but still, it's noteworthy anyway. And he's up against Dusko uh, Todorovic rather, or something like that. Again, apologies for mispronouncing that one. More experience, 12-4, but he's a bit inconsistent. He's a dangerous fight because he can knock you out, but he's been knocked out and he can knock you out. He's a bit of a wild card. Um, so I think if Mansour's going to be sensible enough to well not underestimate him, because if he does, then he could end up losing this fight quite easily. Actually, it's a dangerous opponent, but a beatable one. As long as he just stays calm, just maybe feels out the first round. Don't go looking for a knockout or a sub straight away unless a golden opportunity presents itself, and just get a feel for the fight and take your coach's advice from there. That's all I'm going to say for that one. But certainly wouldn't hurt to try and take some of the energy out of Torodovic. Uh, so we'll just see if Mansur can play it sensibly and uh, avoid a potential. Well, I suppose a bit of an upset. I suppose a little bit of an upset because he's got the ability to beat Todorovic. As long as he doesn't underestimate him, though, because Todorovic can be quite a dangerous fighter. So anyway, I think El Guapo should be going through. I've got him to win that one actually by a second round knockout, or maybe a third round knockout as at later finish anyway. Right, Foghorn Sam is next to take on the wheel. Let's see who the wheel has lined up for Foghorn Sam. And he gets the former one double champ Renier de Ridder. Renier de Ridder there for Foghorn Sam. And that's, as I mentioned, up against Gerald Mercier, one of the ones that I think's got a very good chance of one of the bankers in this, so to speak. And as I mentioned, I'm expecting to do it by second round submission. No, Mercier has found a bit of a purple patch at the moment. He's had a good year so far. Although trying to ask him to beat somebody as good as De Ridder is a bit of a stretch. It'll give him a tough fight. It'll be a very tough welcome to the UFC. Uh, well, I think it is just a little bit. It's bitten off a little bit more than he can chew here with De Ridder. We'll see how that one gets on. I think he's up against Cheeseball as well. It's another head-to-head there. So another little rivalry to keep an eye out for. Um, it's your boy SB, or it's your boys. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but um, anyway, he's up next to take on the wheel. So good luck to him. Let's see who the boy's going to be for It's Your Boy. Although it's not a boy, it's Gillian Robertson. Uh, I should have just kept my fucking mouth shut. Um, I mean, of course, the wheel can hear my commentary. I swear to God. Right, Gillian Robertson. Anyway, but the good news for It's Your Boy SB is that that's another one of the bankers on the cards. I've mentioned a couple of times already. Don't want to completely shit on Luana Pinheiro too much, but as I said, I before Robertson's just on another level. I can't see how. I just yeah, I say just when analysing these fights, I just think like okay, for fighter A, what's their best chance of victory against fighter B? For fighter B, what's their best chance of victory for fighter A? Of those two scenarios, which is more likely? And that's how I generally pick. Uh, that's the basics of it. But I must admit, when it came to Luana Pinheiro, I was struggling how she beats Gillian Robertson, and in the end, I just came to the conclusion that frankly she doesn't. So it's your boy. Um, well, let's see if Gillian Robertson's going to be your girl. Uh, let's see if she'll get you through to the next round. She should do. Uh, has anyone else got Gillian, or has everyone else just got? It's come up a couple of times, hasn't it? Is everyone else on Luana? Yeah, it's Cal Foth and C Collins, 44, both on Luana. So again, that adds another side to that little fight there. Right, Jack Soto or Soto. I'm not quite 100% sure how is that Soto or Soto. I'm not sure, but here's Jack. Let's see what Jack's going to be drawn with, or who he's going to be. Yeah, and he's got Sean Gore. Sean Gore there for Jack's Soto, and again, I think as I've mentioned before, it's yeah, because someone else had Antonio Tricoli. I've got Gore to win this one, mostly over it because of his win over Josh Rems, which really caught my attention. Um, but yeah, so I think I say he's a slight underdog probably, but it's an underdog that's got a serious chance of winning. So it's not a complete. It wouldn't be a surprise to see either of them win, but either Gore or Tricoli win. But I think, in my personal opinion, I think Gore's going to do it. That by decision. Tricoli, obviously, as I've said, more experience. If he leans on that experience, he might be able to try and upset the script a little bit. But well, I don't know if it's a script, actually. I think he is the favourite, but you know what I mean. Anyway, it's a close fight. I think Gore's going to do it. Other people think Tricoli's going to do it. But yeah, no, I'm on the Gore bandwagon with this one. I'm sure Jack Soto's pleased to hear that as well. Right, judging by the list, we're about halfway through-ish, maybe a little bit more now. Uh, Next up is KK Kombu. KK Kombu there for the KK Kombu to be spun next. There he is. He's getting Mansur Abdul Malik there. Mansur Abdul Malik, same as El Guapo earlier. Yeah, got him to win second round knockout. I say undefeated, 6-0, coming in, making his UFC debut. It's as long as he's sensible against Todorovic, no reason why he can't, no reason why he shouldn't win at all. So yeah, not really a lot I can add to that. It's obviously just watch out that he doesn't get knocked out. As Todorovic can be a bit unpredictable at times, so there's always the risk he could get caught with something, but I think Manchu is a better prospect than that. He's more sensible than to get too reckless with uh, Todorovic there. So I think that's a good one there for KK Kombu, Mansour Abdul Malik rather. Right, Knife Rusty there next to take on the wheel. Let's see who the wheel's going to give to Knife Rusty. Oh, there you go. First time this one's come up. Claudia Saigula. Claudia um, Saigula there. Um, again, she's one of the ones I don't fancy at all, if I'm being completely honest. She's up against Melissa Mullins, who, if it's any cold comfort, you won't have to wait too long to learn your fate, as it'll be the opening prelim fight. But I think Melissa Mullins, despite being 6-1, that is a very different 6-1 to Claudia Saigula. They've earned those records in very different manners. Uh, Mullins has earned it by fighting through Ares and the UFC, of course, and Claudia Saigula coming pretty much fresh out of the regional scene. No other notable real promotions to her name or notable fighters to her name. So yeah, I don't fancy your chances at all, if I'm being honest, Knife Rusty. I think you went out in the first round last time as well, so I feel for you. This might be another early exit, I'm afraid. Right. Uh excuse me 1 second. Just got blown the bloody nose again. Can't breathe out my left nostril for shit. Uh, I should have just paid some guy on Fiverr to do this video for me, honestly. Right. Oh, that'd be a lazy way of doing this game, wouldn't it? No, I'm tight with money. I would never do that. Right. Cushy Cake next to take on the wheel. Yes, ooh, bloody hell, that was a bit of a fast spin there. All right on the edge. Gillian Robertson. Gillian Robertson there for Cushy Cake. Again, not a lot I can say to that one. I've gone over that several times now. First round submission by Robertson. Um, yeah, and like I say, that's one of the bankers. That's one of the certainties of this card. And not there's any certainties in MMA, there never is. But especially not with women's MMA. But Gillian Robertson is definitely one of the better ones you could hope for on this particular card. Uh, there's been a few people drawn with her now. I'm not going to go back through the whole list now because there's been it's getting to the stage it's quite complicated as to who's fighting who. I just saw, but I think this could end up being one of the key fights in this round anyway because there's a few that have got Robertson now. Mule Floyd is next. Let's see the wheel has in store for Mule Floyd, and another very fast spin. These spins are not equal, I tell you that. Right, Denise Gomez. Again, one of the ones that another women's fight, another one of the ones that I fancy to go through. Maybe not as comfortably as Robertson, but certainly by a decision, at least. And as I say, she's even though she's got less experience, I think it's better experience. She's got better wins to her name, and it's to quote Indiana Jones, I think it's Raiders of the Lost Ark. He says it in. It's not the years, it's the mileage. Very true, especially when it comes to MMA. Not that MMA was really a thing back when Raiders of the Lost Ark first came out, but it does apply nonetheless. Uh, so yeah, that's another one I'm reasonably confident in. Not as much as some others, but Mule Floyd should be reasonably happy with Denise Gomez there. Right, just catch my breath a second. And then after that, we'll move on to see who awaits Piggy Bank. What I was saying just about the equal wheel spins there, that odd comment there. It seems every time I spin it, I don't know. Obviously, I've no control over the wheel at all, but it seems that sometimes the wheel it's set for 5 seconds each time, and I think it does spin for a total of 5 seconds each time. But sometimes it starts faster and ends slower. I don't think they go around at the same speed. It's an interesting little system they got there, which is exactly how a random wheel should work, really. Because if it did a set number of spaces per spin, then you'd be able to judge who the next one was going to be along based on where it landed last time. So actually, that does make sense thinking about it. I don't know. Just thought I'd change the subject a little bit while I was just composing myself there, trying to breathe again. But anyway, piggy bank. Enough of the diddling about. Let's see. Here we go. Piggy bank is being drawn with Damon Blackshare. Uh, that's the first time Damon Blackshare has come up in this game, so a different one to talk about. So just getting typed into the Excel sheets, and again, this is probably the one of the toughest fight for me to pick against Cody Starman. I've gone with Cody Starman by decision, largely based off of his more experience. I think Blackshare was the favourite by the bookies. No, I can't argue with that one too much. He's got good wins. I'd say he's probably better on the ground as well, but I'd say Cody Starman's better on the feet. So will those cancel each other out? Is this another? I wouldn't necessarily say it's going to be an out and out striker versus grappler fight, so to speak, but it's the striking and the is a clear strength for Starman, and the grappling is very much a clear strength for Blackshare. So if Blackshare can get the fight to the ground, I can't see why he wouldn't win. Either by submission or drag out to a decision. I think decision is probably more likely. But in my case, I think Starman's going to wear him down a little bit with the striking a bit more. The only thing really that I've got against Starman is that is on a little bit of a losing streak at the moment, and both of those losses are by decision. He has won by decision as well in the past, so it's not like he doesn't have. It's not like he's got a bad gas tank, so to speak. But it never bodes well when somebody has back-to-back losses at the hands of the judges, especially if it's a fight that you think is going to go the distance. So from that point of view, I could understand Damon Blackshare being the favourite for it. But that's a real 50-50 one. So I think Piggy Bank's just going to have to hold tight and just hold tight and hope for the best. Just hold on to the corkscrew at the bottom of your piggy bank or your little piece of cork or whatever. I mean, I'm assuming he's a person. I'm assuming he's not a literal piggy bank. Because I mean, if I'm doing a game for a literal piggy bank on about fantasy MMA, or I'd have to really reevaluate my life, wouldn't I? Let's be honest. Anyway, Rigno next to take on the wheel. Oh, so just bloody hell. Bloody fuck, can this cold just fuck off already? Right. Rigno is next to take on the wheel. Let's see who he gets drawn with. Okay, get Charles. Another one I don't think's come up yet. So that gives me an option I know each time I promise I'm going to cut down on the rambling. I never do. I love rambling. I fucking love talking about MMA. Even if I'm chatting a load of shit, I just love chatting a load of shit about it. So let's yeah, let's go. The fight hasn't come up yet. It gives me an excuse to do a little bit more of that. Let's got him to win by second round submission, 9-4. He's he's lost to Prates, the main eventer, one of his victims in the UFC, in his UFC, so to speak. I've always wondered what that's like for the fighters. I'm sure they're professional about it, but being on the undercard of a fighter that's beaten you previously, I've always wondered what that's like psychologically. I know I've got too much of an ego to handle that, but fair play to the fighters that do. But anyways, up until that win, a loss rather, he has had some good wins before, so a he's not like a journeyman or a bum or whatever dismissive term you'd like to use for fighters, and he should be the favourite against Matthews Semelsberger, who I think if he doesn't win this, he's going to be in real trouble with the UFC. I think he needs this to try and save his run because he's lost his last three. He's lost four out of his last five. Um, the only good thing you can say about him is that he did beat Jake Matthews in that little run. So fair play. That is a good win. I do rate Jake Matthews. Maybe not as good as he used to be, maybe 5 years ago, perhaps, but I do rate um do rate him. So it's a good little win there. But I'm afraid that is about the only thing he's got going to his credit. So and that's just not going to be enough against Charles Radke. All in all, though, good pick there for Rigno. Right, Shat is next. Take on the wheel. And Shat gets Gerald Mercheret. Gerald Mercheret there for Shat. And yeah, Shat's going to need a bit of luck. Obviously, covered it a few times before. Tough veteran, but as experienced as Mercheret is, it's a tough call for anyone in the middle weight division to just be told, look, here is a double champion, a simultaneous double champion from another organization, coming over, and it's his debut in the UFC, so he's going to want to make a point, make a strong start, try and win over the UFC fan base. Obviously, there's going to be quite a few people that haven't seen him fight. This for a lot of people. This is going to be the first time they see Rene Derrida fight. And all I can say is I feel sorry for them because that's their loss. But at least they do get to see that now. But that will be a motivation for Derrida. Uh, yeah, so Rene Derrida by second round submission is what I've got. And yeah, Shat's going to need Mercheret to pull out every single trick he knows if he's going to be able to cause what would be a huge upset, in my opinion. This would probably be the biggest upset on the card, maybe barring Luana Pinheiro versus Gillian Robertson, but I suppose I could understand a little more with that one being women's MMA. But this would be a huge, huge upset if Mercheret does get a win. I mean, of course, it would be probably the best result for the majority who in this game who ended up with Mercheret. But we'll just have to enjoy the fight, see how it plays out. Right, Schwer Industry. Let's see, Schwer Industry gets drawn alongside, and I thought he was going to get Mercheret again, but no, he gets Bernardo Sopage there. Bernardo Sopage. And co-main event. First time this one's come up, actually. Co-main event against Ricky Turquoise. And I've got Sapage to win the decision for this one. He's a minus 350 favourite, which I thought was a surprisingly heavy favourite. He should be the favourite, but I'm surprised he's that big a favourite. Because Turquoise lost last time out, but that was against Raul Rosas Jr., who's one of the prospects that the UFC is going to try and keep a very going to try and protect as much as possible. So I can't really hold that. That loss doesn't count as much against him as some others might have. What about Sapage though? Anyway, he's the one I'm supposed to be talking about. Well, he's 11-3 for starters. Got the he's got some good wins. He's got some good KO finishes as well. So he's got power. That's his main threat. That's the main thing that Turquoise is going to have to worry about. Um, and I suppose a lot of people are probably thinking he's going to finish the fight. I'm not one of them. I don't think Turquoise that bad. I think Turquoise good enough to fend off uh, the striking threat of Sapage. Maybe not enough to win or to turn the fight in his favour, but certainly enough that he won't get finished, in my opinion. So, um, yeah, Bernardo Sapage for Schwer Industry. CN6 making his debut in this game. Good luck with that one. Always nice to see some new players in here. So let's see who your um first ever fighter in this is going to be. And again, this guy, good one, Charles Radke. Oh, excuse me. As I've already mentioned, I think he's going to win second round knockouts against Matthews Semelsberger, who yeah, I think it was Semelsberger. I think there's going to be serious questions about how long or does he belong in the UFC. Uh, I don't think he can stand with Radke, for instance, and it's not like he's going to be going on too much of a run at welterweight. I think he could risk. Yeah, basically, he could potentially be one of the ones on the chopping board if he loses, which is the more likely outcome. Let's be real. Um, but anyway, for CN6, that means Charles Radke. That's a good start. The wheels started to be kind to our new player. Right. Okay, me, Stephen Terry. Let's see. Even though I mostly go by Steve these days, to be honest, but uh, I don't really mind. It's the same name either way, but me. Let's see how I'm going to be drawn with. Let's see. What's the wheel got in store for me? At least I actually remember to add myself to the game this time. Oh, okay. And I also get Bernardo Sopage there for for me, yeah. Same with Schwer Industry just a few months ago. And as I said, slight favourite, but I don't think it as much of a favourite as other people are making him out to be. So I think Ricky Turquoise is going to give him a good fight, a really good fight. And so yeah, that's not too much I can add to that. So given I've just spoken about him a couple of minutes ago, maybe he'll get a finish. Maybe he'll go the distance. I seem to be in the minority that think that he's gonna go to end up gonna. This is going to be a tougher fight than a lot of people think it's going to be. That's uh, that's all I'm going to say for that one. Right. Okay, down to our last few people. How many is that to go? Seven. Down to our last seven. Uh, as much as I like making these games, I'm kind of relieved about that because I really need to save my voice now. Right. The Dirty UFC Man is next to take on. We'll see whose corner the Dirty UFC Man is going to be in. And the Dirty UFC Man has been drawn with Antonio Tricoli. Antonio Tricoli there with the Dirty UFC Man. I'm sure he's delighted. Uh, but I say, it's a close one though, so it's not too bad a pick. It's Certainly could be worse, but as I've mentioned several times now, I'm going with Trayshawn Gore, mostly based off his win against Josh Frems. Um, Contender series as well for Tricoli, but I suppose I don't even. At what point do I stop mentioning that? Because most fighters the UFC like come through the Contender series. It is you can't. There's no such thing as an easy Contender series fight, really. So this might make some people might make it look that way, but it really isn't. Um, but yeah, it's becoming more and more common, isn't it? See fighters getting that route into the UFC. Oh, I mean, not it will for a little while because the season's ended, hasn't it? But it's it's a close one anyway. Back to we're going off track again there, but a close one there. But the dirty UFC man with Antonio Tricoli. Right, the MMA historian. Next, let's see who Will is going to pair him with. That was a very slow spin, that one. And he gets Carolina. As I've said, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the surname again, say causing another international incident. I don't want the British embassy. My arse forcing me to make a public apology to the whole of Poland because of fucks up the name. But oh, bloody hell! Right. As I've said before a few times now, Denise Gomez. I think she's come up more than Carolina has in this game, from what I remember. And I say less fights but better quality. Simple as that. As for Carolina, maybe I suppose maybe let's focus on her a little bit more. See what else I can pick up my brain. See what I can drag out for that one. Um, Goes the distance a lot, so again, not overly unusual for women's MMA fights. Really, a lot of them do go the distance, so it's debatable how much stock you can put into that. But at the end of the day, 15 minutes is still 15 minutes. You still need a good gas tank to put up with that. So certainly got the cardio. Maybe she'll sneak out another win. Who knows? Wouldn't be overly surprising. And the MMA historian is going to be hoping for that. Well, I mean, really, the MMA historian's probably hoping she just goes out there, knocks her fucking head off right out of the gate, get it over and done with. But as long as it wins, he'll be happy. Or she, I don't know. The MMA historian could be a she, I don't know. I'd be a bias showing through there. Anyway, Trail Allman is next. Let's see who Trail Allman is drawn with. And Trail Allman gets Melissa Mullins, who again, that's another one of the bankers. In my opinion, the first fight on the card as well against Claudia Segula, who, and again, it's just going back to the year, it's not the years, it's the mileage quotes. This is another prime example of that. Both fighters 6-1, very different career stories up until this point. Mullins is she's got the better fighters on her record. She's got the better promotions under her records, and okay, I'm getting a bit biased because obviously she's English, and I am more familiar with the English MMA scene because first time I saw her was on Golden Ticket Fight Promotions, which is a regional English promotion. Um, and I think it's only started up maybe 5 years ago, maybe about that, a few years ago anyway. But they do consistently put on good shows. They're not, yeah, they're still regional level, of course, but they are a very reputable one. It's not like this isn't. They're not some backyard promotion, so to speak. They are quite a good firm to fight for. So certainly compared to some of the other shits that goes on in English and British MMA, some of the regional some of the regional shit that goes on there is ridiculous. For 9 months, I was an editor for Tapology, covering the UK MMA scene. That was enough for me. Bloody hell. I loved it, don't get me wrong, but until doing that, I never realised what an absolute state some promotions are in. But Golden Ticket 5 Promotions is not one of those. That is one of the better ones. And as well as Melissa going on to Ares after that as well, that's and then obviously in the UFC as well, got to a winning start. So it's good. It's good. Yeah, that's a much more impressive 6-1 than Claudia Saigula is. Maybe someone in the comment section is an expert on Polish MMA more than I am. That's for sure. If they are, and I'm underrating Saigula, and maybe the fighters she's fought are better than I'm giving them credit for. Maybe the promotions she's fought for are better than I'm giving them credit for. If anyone does have any anecdotes about the Polish regional scene, I'd love to hear them. I know they do a lot of freak show fights. They turn up on my feed a few times on social medias and whatnot. But and you do get some killers, of course. KSW, I'm familiar with, but yeah, maybe this is a little bit of bias, but Melissa Mullins should be the favourite in my opinion. Trig is next. Here we are. Down to the last four. Trig is next to face the wheel. Right, so let's see who Trig's been drawn with, who's he going to be matched with. And he gets Bernardo Sopage. Bernardo Sopage there for a Trig. And again, there's not really too much I can add to that. That's come up a few times now. Again, Turquoise is going to give him a bit of a fight. Well, certainly a good fight, to be honest. I'm expecting this. It's the co-main for a reason. Let's be honest. It's a good matchup. But it won't be as easy for Sapage as I think a lot of people are making it out to be. But he should be the favourite. And all in all, I think Triggs should be fairly happy with that one. I certainly hope so. I've been drawn with him as well. Right. Troz next. Let's see who the wheel's going to land on for Troz. And Dusko Todorovic, therefore, Troz. I think that's the first time Dusko's come up. Here it is. So that means I'm going to have to type it out a long way rather than using the autofill on Excel. Todorovic. And again, underdog, but a dangerous underdog. A bit of a wild card. Got knockout power. Can end a fight at any moment, but he has had his chin cracks a few times as well. So he's beatable for Mansur Abdul Malik, but also is not a walkover by any means. He's Todorovic. If he does find that shot or baits Malik into a bit of a dogfight, it could end very badly for Malik. Very well for Troz though. Maybe Troz is just going to have to hope that the fight may perhaps plays out that way, because that would, if it does, it will play to Todorovic's strengths if that is the case. But yeah, I think he is very much riding with the underdog there. Right, two more to go. Uber match, welcome back. So we're going to say, because you were a lifetime pass holder, took a bit of a break, and wanted to rejoin this one. So good to see you back in the game, and good luck after your little hiatus. Maybe you're going to come back, take the whole thing, and you might do. You got Cody Starman. It's a bit of a 50-50 one. First time Cody Starman's come up actually. So not the first time the fight's come up, because obviously somebody else, I think it was, here it is, yeah, it says Piggybank, Damon Blackshire. I can't remember if anybody else got Blackshire at the top of my head at the moment. That's what I've got all written down. And I've gone with Starman. I've gone to win by decision. Maybe I know he has lost his last couple by decision, but maybe this time he's going to be slightly more lucky, or maybe he's learned from those two. That's the other way of looking at it. It's like, as I was saying earlier, it doesn't bode well, but then the flip side of it is like, what's he learned from it? That's the because I mean, there's fighting, of course. There is fighting. You've got to win the fight. You've got to do more damage. You've got to uh more control, more damage, more everything. But I suppose very much there is a way of sort of playing for fighting for the judges. Fighting and fighting for the judges is not quite the same thing always. Just because you're winning the fight doesn't always mean that that's resonating with the judges as much. Maybe they're not quite valuing the same aspects of a fight that you might perhaps. That's why we end up with so many controversial decisions in this sport because it is so subjective. So maybe he's made some slight changes there. Maybe he fights in a more judge approving manner, judge friendly manner. But even though I don't think it's going to come into too much because I think if he fights his best fight, he will genuinely win on merit alone. He's good enough that he can. So, but it is a close one. Ubermatch is going to have to hold tight for that one, wait his fate. And finally, ex-con Chris. Let's see. One final spin for tonight. Let's see who ex-con Chris is going to be drawn with. And he gets Mansur Abdul Malik. Again, several times now I've covered this. Obviously, there's been quite a few people on him as well, I think. But as long as he plays it safe, or relatively safe anyway, doesn't do anything reckless, doesn't take any stupid risks against Todorovic that might leave himself open. It's a tough fight, but it's winnable. That's all I'm going to say. And I think Excon Chris should be reasonably happy with that one. So I think we can expect to see Excon Chris in the next round. How much longer have I got on my battery? Because that's not a good sign. That just pops up. 8 minutes. Right, I'm gonna have to wrap this thing up. Okay, so it's good thing at this end when it does. Right. Let me just fuck my bob. Get share back to this page. Right, I hope you can all see my Excel sheet. Just quickly run through them again. A with Melissa Mullins, Bellatrix with Cortovius Romeus, Boom Shakalaka with Gaston Bolanos, Calfoth with Luana Pinheiro, Canhego Ariz with Carolina Cole, just Carolina. Captain Quebec with Antonio Tricoli, C. Collins 44 with Luana Pinheiro, Cheeseball with Gerald Mercheret, Cool Hand Puke with Denise Gomez, Costradamus with Carlos Process, Damien Handel also with Cortovius Romeus, Dr. Maxis 2 with Elizu Zaleski, El Guapo with Mansur Abdul Malik, Foghorn Sam with Rene de Ridder, It's Your Boy SB with Gillian Robertson, ironically, Jack Soto with Trajan Gore, KK Kombu with Mansur Abdul Malik, Knife Rusty with Claudia Sagula, Cushy Cake with Gillian Robertson, Mule Floyd with Denise Gomez, Piggy Bank with Damon Blackshire, Rigno with Charles Radke, Shat with Gerald Mercheret, Schwer Industry with Bernard Sepage, C Un6 with Charles Radke, me, Stephen Terry with Bernardo Sapage, The Dirty UFC Man with Antonio Tricoli, The MMA Historian with Carolina, just Carolina, Trail Allman with Melissa Mullins, Trig with Bernardo Sapage, Troz with Dusko Todorovic, Uber Match with Cody Starman, and Ex-Con Chris with Mansur Abdul Malik. Right, okay, so I'm not going to do any closing speech or anything because time is a factor with my battery running out here. So all I'm going to say is good luck to everyone in this game. Good luck to everyone for their Tapology picks. Especially good luck if you got bets on this card. And we'll see how many of you are in the next round. But until next time, so long for now.